Got a banger for you today. And yes, it's about our guy, Tua Tagovailoa. What is up, Finn fans? We're going to be talking about Tua Tagovailoa today. Already put a video out earlier today doing the deeper dive. If you haven't checked that out, go check that out. Come back and watch this. Also, we are 3 subscribers away from 48,000 subscribers. 38, not 48. I'm getting ahead of myself. 3 subscribers away from 38,000. Love you guys. We're getting so close to 40. We're getting so close to 40. I'm going to do a huge giveaway when we hit 40,000 subs. Like, I love you guys. You guys are amazing. But yeah, in this video, I kind of want to talk about the relationship between Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel, kind of Tua Tagovailoa last year and where he is now and my thought process on all that. But before we jump into that, no ads. I don't have an ads, but I got 2 updates for you. One, Mike McDaniel is mic'd up. So you know for a fact when that comes out, I'm doing a reaction. You guys saw that I put out a schedule. Go into the community tab. I put out a schedule for what's going on this week. Well, now you can add a reaction to Mike McDaniel mic'd up into that schedule of, I think, maybe 8 or 9 videos. I'm giving you like 8 or 9 videos in a 7-day span. Explain to me. So there's that. The other thing, Nick Wagner reported that 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey will be managed day to day with what Kyle Shanahan has called a knee irritation. Also, Adam Schefter reported Kyle Shanahan told reporters that 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell is expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury he suffered Sunday. So CMC is day to day, and Elijah Mitchell will not play against the Dolphins and against a run defense that has stopped pretty much every running back they've come across. Very, very big. Our biggest competitor, and the thing that worries me the most, is the 49ers defense, but we'll get into that when we get closer to Friday. But those are the things I wanted to bring up before we jump into Tua Tagovailoa. So NBC, CBS Sports, NFL on CBS, released this, and I'm going to play it, and we're going to listen to it.
Tua was about as honest as he could be with us yesterday, telling us that multiple times during the year last year, he looked in the mirror and he asked himself, do I suck? He genuinely didn't know if he belonged on this level because he was so beleaguered by both the fan base and his coaches. And then Mike McDaniel put together a 700-play tape to show him how good he actually is.
You know, I think anyone here can attest to someone believing in them and how that changes how they see themselves, but also things around them, so perspective. But it was awesome.
Tua was
700 play highlight. Tua was pretty beaten down. You could see it towards the end of last season. The man was pretty beaten down. He knew that Brian Flores didn't want him. He knew that Brian Flores wanted Deshaun Watson. He knew that it seemed like the whole organization, from Stephen Ross to Chris Greer, regardless of how you think if Flores had more of an influence on Ross and Greer, or Ross and Greer this and that, whatever you want to think, these 3 guys are sitting there trying to get a new quarterback to replace you. And, you know, they can come out and say Tua's our quarterback for now and Tua this. The writing's on the wall. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's seeing it. It's all out there. So for Mike McDaniel to come out and make a point to show Tua, look, you don't suck, right? And I was saying that. If you go back and watch my preview for this season, and if you go back and watch my essential breakdown of his play last year, the only thing that he needed to work on was his inconsistencies. Because he was making throws where I'm like, if you can make these throws consistently, you can be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Well, he is now making those throws consistently, and he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Tua's leading the league in total QBR, QBR versus man, QBR versus zone, QBR under pressure, QBR in the pocket, QBR outside the pocket, QBR in the red zone, QBR in fourth quarter, and QBR on third downs. The man is just leading in the passing rate and passing stats for pretty much everything. You throw a man at him, he's leading in that QBR. Oh, they're going to play zone? That'd be dumb because you're facing 2 of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Same thing with man. And that's the other thing. A lot of people want to look at this and say, oh, well, he has Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. But someone's got to get him the ball. Someone's got to get him the ball accurately. Someone's got to get him the ball on time. And we're going to break down the film tomorrow, and you're going to see that before Teron Armstead even went out of that game, Tua was under a lot of pressure from the guards and from Austin Jackson on that right side. And he was still stepping up in the pocket. He was still throwing lasers. He was making moves here and there, evading the pressure and playing lights out. So again, to say that, oh, it's just Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, you also have to get the ball to them. You also have to give them time to get open. You have to do all these things. It's a yin and yang situation. It's just like the quarterback in the offensive line, the quarterback and the wide receivers. Past 2 years, he had wide receivers that were running lazy routes and that weren't getting separation. Now, all of a sudden, he has the receivers that are running these crisp routes and getting separation. Now, people don't want to give Tua the credit that he deserves, right? Also, Tua is first in the NFL in passer rating, first in the NFL in passing touchdown to attempt ratio, first in the NFL in yards to attempt ratio, and first in the NFL in yards to completion. He is playing lights out. And it's shows that if you, and I made a video talking about this, right? Asking essentially, is Tua Tagovailoa, was he treated like a franchise quarterback? Because, we're always going to compare Tua to Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. It is what it is. Just like how we compare Jim Kelly to Dan Marino to, whoever, John Elway, right? We compared those three to each other all the time. That's what's going to happen, right? We're going to compare Tua to Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow. It is what it is. But if you look at it, the situations that Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert got drafted into were 1,000% different than the one Tua Tagovailoa got drafted into. He got drafted into a situation where he had to learn a brand new playbook, where Joe Burrow, they literally asked him, and I talked about this countless times, but they asked him, what plays are you comfortable with from LSU? And they incorporated it into the playbook. Same thing with Justin Herbert. They predicated their playbook around the way Justin Herbert plays. You know why? Because they were their franchise quarterbacks. You know what the Miami Dolphins did with Tua Tagovailoa? You're going to learn Ryan Fitzpatrick's playbook. And then you're going to play with it. Oh, he's not getting it enough? Well, that's because he's not a good quarterback. Like, do you see like, and then, okay, you know how we'll fix this? We'll have 3 guys in your ear. That's how we'll fix it. But do you see, and then the toxicity and all that stuff. Whereas now all of a sudden, you got a guy who believes in you. You got a head coach who's like, I believe in you. I've seen you could do these things. And now all of a sudden, Tua Tagovailoa is top 5, the number 1. And how many categories did I read off to you? It shows that Tua is thriving. And yes, it 100% helps to have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and a competent offensive line to give him enough time. But you also have to realize that the time in the pocket with Tua Tagovailoa isn't top 10. When it comes to time in the pocket, Tua is actually ranked 50th. He's ranked 50th with 2.5 seconds. Total time in the pocket. And that's not how long it takes him to get the ball out. It's how long he has until he gets pressure on him. You know where Skylar Thompson is ranked? 26th. 26th with 2.75 seconds. So, yeah, it does help that he has a better offensive line, but he's still under immense pressure. 2.5 seconds. 50th. 50th among all these quarterbacks, right? The highest is Justin Fields with 3.44, but it has a lot to do with him getting out of the pocket and kind of giving himself more time. Same thing with Lamar Jackson with 3.11. But, so, not discrediting what he has, because what he has obviously is making a difference. You know how I know it's making a difference? Because people are saying that the reason why Justin Herbert isn't doing as well as he has in the past, not saying he's not doing well this year, is because he doesn't have that much around him. But when we said that for 2 years, it was called making excuses. But when these other quarterbacks get it, it is reasons. So, again, not taking away from it, it helps. Every quarterback in the NFL. Look at Kirk Cousins. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen are helping him. Yes, he can also get the ball to other guys, and he has a good arm. But you think Justin Jefferson's not helping Kirk Cousins? You think Cooks isn't helping Kirk Cousins? Prime example, right? Everyone's back on that Mike White train, right? Even though last year he did fantastic against the Cincinnati Bengals, and then all of a sudden he fell off, and then he disappeared. But look at Mike White versus Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson with the same exact offense sucked. You put Mike White in there, and all of a sudden they score 31 points. Again, it's against a horrible Bears defense. We'll see what he does against the Bills and the Vikings. But to say and to discredit what Tua is doing because of what's around him is a discredit to Tua, right? And then also the big thing I want to talk about is how like I said, we physically saw Tua was just, by the end of the season, he was completely dejected, especially that Tennessee Titans game, right? They go on a crazy winning streak, and they go into the Tennessee Titans game. They're not prepared at all. It is raining. It is 30 degrees. It is a horrible situation to throw the ball, and they have Tua throw 38 times. You flip it. What does Mike Vrabel do with Ryan Tannehill? They didn't have Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill threw it 18 times. So again, different situations. And then they asked Mike Gesicki at halftime, did you guys make any adjustments? Nope. No adjustments. Went right back out there, did the same thing because we thought it would work. Frank Gore was actually playing really well. No, it wasn't Frank Gore. It was Frank. No, it was Duke. Duke was playing really well. And they stopped running at points. Now all of a sudden he has a guy. I'm going to put, and it's not even with Tua, right? Mike McDaniel. And I'm raving. Again, I was super skeptical about Mike McDaniel. But now I see what he was talking about. Mike McDaniel said the way that you can get these players to trust you is you show them success. You put them in the right situation, and then they'll trust you. He put Tyreek Hill in the right situation where he is going to have his career best in receiving yards. Put Jalen Waddle in the right situation where he's already almost surpassed his receiving yards last year. He put Tua in the right situation where he is number one in so many different stats. He put the offensive line in the right situation. Like all of a sudden, Sherfield's playing well. Craycraft, again, Cedric Wilson, we're seeing spurts of him playing well. They bring in Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, and we're going to talk about that. But that's going to be in probably Friday's video, or I might do this on Thursday. There's some beef going on with Raheem Mostert and the 49ers, but that's its own video. But what I wanted to really talk about and address is Tua from last year to this year, to the point where, Mike McDaniel saw how dejected he was, and a lot of people are like, well, this is football. If you have to look at yourself in the mirror and think these things, then maybe you shouldn't play the game and blah, 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 this, and that. Hey, it worked. It worked because look how great Tua is playing right now. If you look at the PFF, he's second ranked behind Patrick Mahomes in PFF ranking. When it comes to passing, he's first. Tua is he's just playing at an MVP level. Now, do I think he's going to win MVP? I'd pick him, but I'm biased. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan, and I root for Tua. I like to root for the underdogs. But he's definitely a top 3 candidate for MVP because he's playing like it. And again, I'll reiterate it one more time. It helps to have the weapons around you, but a lot of these guys have the weapons around them. You think Josh Allen doesn't have the weapons around him? Davis, Diggs, they're not good wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes, who's his number one target? Travis Kelce. You think that doesn't help him? And all of a sudden, what do? They start adding Juju, and then they go out and they start adding pieces and start trying to get these pieces around Patrick Mahomes. I wonder why. Maybe it's because quarterbacks actually need to throw to players. They need good players. Why do all of a sudden all these guys start going out and trading and making acquisitions for wide receivers? Why did the Raiders go out and get Devontae Adams? Why are the Packers consistently begging for the Packers to get a wide receiver? I thought Aaron Rodgers was an MVP. So I love seeing what Mike McDaniel did and just turned around Tua for him to be this quarterback that we have. And the narrative that it's only the receivers around him is a lazy narrative. And if you use that narrative, it's because you don't watch the game and you're a ball watcher. You got to watch the placement. You got to watch his pocket presence, the command of the offense, the command of the locker room, the communication he has with his players. He is now the captain because he's allowed to be the captain. That's all I got for you. Just wanted to make this quick video talking about all this stuff. Tomorrow, film breakdown. I'll be recording it tonight. We're going to go real in-depth. I'm going to look at Tua. I'm going to look at the defense a little bit. I'm going to look at Skylar Thompson, see if he missed any possible opportunities. Again, it's not judging or comparing. It's just we're going to break down film. So don't get too defensive of, why aren't you as critical of Tua? I'm going to be just as critical. I saw some ducks he threw. I'm going to talk about him. But I'll see you guys tomorrow in the film breakdown. But other than that, like usual, stay classy and fins up.